For more on the topic, let's cross to Toronto and speak with Carlos Muntaner. He's a professor at the University of Toronto. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So another referendum, another interesting outcome in Europe. So what does this win by pro-independence parties mean for the economy?
Well, I hope that not much. The Spanish government has tried to scare the Catalans and foreign investors and Catalan companies so they would massively relocate to other parts of Spain, but that didn't happen. And it's less likely to happen now since, again, the independentists have won in a clear majority, 70 seats against 57.
So for people who aren't familiar with what's been happening, give us some context in terms of the importance of Catalonia's role in Spain's economy and the impact this uncertainty has been having.
Well, Catalonia is 20% of the Spanish GDP, and that's above its weight in terms of population, which is only 16%. And it's the leading scientific hub of the country. It's also very powerful in terms of tourism, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and other industries. So it's essential for the wealth and raising taxes for the Spanish state, which actually has kept much more than what it gives back to Catalonia. About, they say, 16 billion per year that do not come back to Catalonia from the taxes that Spain is levying every year.
Now we did.
Now, yes, please.
I'm sorry. We did see some businesses from Catalonia unsure of what was happening and deciding whether or not to move operations to the mainland. And they were wondering, what is this going to mean for their inclusion in the EU? So how is the business community viewing this outcome?
Well, the Spanish state was trying to convince many, mostly Spanish businesses to relocate to Spain. And that has happened. About 300 of businesses, major, like the major bank, La Caixa, have relocated to other areas of Spain, but only their social headquarters. Now, think about more than 500,000 businesses are in Catalonia, so that's a very small proportion. And international businesses, say Amazon, for example, have not relocated outside of Barcelona. So these scare tactics to weaken the Catalan economy has not yet bear fruit, according to the plans of the Spanish government.
So which industries do you think are most likely to be affected by this political turmoil?
I'm sorry, who's going to be affected?
In terms of the industries that could be most affected by the outcome of this election, which are the ones that have the most to gain or lose?
Well, again, I don't think that the impact is going to be so severe. There are expectations that the tourism industry is going to be affected. Cancellations after the violence of the Spanish police against the voters on October the 1st, for example, that has been a blip in the radar. And other industries, it's not clear because foreign direct investment has continued at the usual pace. So either from the perspective of Europe or other international actors, it's unclear whether the effect is going to be noticeable or not.
And speaking of things that are a bit unclear, what are the expectations in terms of whether and when the new lawmakers are going to be seated?
The new lawmakers are going to be from Catalonia. Those that are in jail and exiled, like the former president, it's unclear whether they will be allowed to travel to Spain without being detained. So that's an uncertainty. Yet these parties have already planned for that situation, so they have other members of the party who could be actually leading the Catalan government if needed be.
All right, thank you very much. Professor Carlos Muntaner there from the University of Toronto.